When 1923 first premiered, I didn't really think that I would like it so much. I had watched Yellowstone and 1883 previously, which are part of the Yellowstone TV universe, and I found them a bit lacking. Their storytelling approaches, how they were structured, made them a bit slow and meandering. They relied too heavily on the tropes of the Western and neo-Western genre. But to be fair, they had some excellent episodes, mainly because Taylor Sheridan had written some of the scripts, and the best episodes of these shows were written mostly by him and not by other writers. Now, if you don't know who Taylor Sheridan is, he's the man who wrote Sicario and Wind River, amongst other excellent screenplays. Taylor Sheridan took all his experience of writing Yellowstone in 1883, saw the flaws and problems of these shows, and basically took them all out, and 1923 is so much better for it. Spoiler warning before I go on. The show has three main storylines. We have the elderly Daltons in Montana, which are played by Harrison Ford and Ellen Mirren, both excellent actors that give some really good performances. The main conflict of the story is that Papa Dalton, that's Harrison Ford's character, tries to protect his ranch from various enemies that want to destroy it. The series starts with the ranchers in Montana suffering a drought and wondering how will their cattle and their farms survive the winter. When a neighboring sheep farmer ventures into Papa Dalton's land trying to feed his sheep, Papa Dalton overreacts a bit by catching the sheep farmer and his people, tying them to their horses and leaving them to be hanged. Well, as it happens, the sheep farmer survives and makes an alliance with a creepy but intelligent banker so they can take down the Daltons. After an ambush, Papa Dalton gets severely injured, another Dalton in charge gets killed, and the Daltons are left with no leader. So, Mama Dalton picks up the slack, that's Helen Mirren's character, and tries to salvage as much as he can until another Dalton, named Spencer, comes to the rescue. And with this, we jump into the second storyline, which really resonated with me, and it's definitely the best part of 1923. Spencer is a scarred veteran of World War I. He's a broody, quiet, tough as nails dude who hunts leopards in Africa alongside two other African hunters. Spencer is the kind of character that you immediately like. He's not someone that second guesses, doesn't think about anything for too long. He's a dude that acts. If he wants to do something, he does it. And that brings a hell of an urgency to the character. He's someone that you don't want to fuck around with. Also, props to the casting because the actor Brendan Sklenar is absolutely perfect for the part. So, Spencer meets Alexandra, a beautiful young woman from England, who is in Africa to get married to a British pompous dude. But what happens often in adventure romance stories like 1923, Spencer and Alexandra fall in love, and any plan they may have had up until that point becomes background noise. After meeting and falling in love, Spencer gets another job in a rural area, and Alexandra, being a stubborn as hell woman, insists she tags along. Well, things don't work out as they planned, and they find themselves on top of a tree with a bunch of lions under it, readying themselves for a grand old feast. The couple barely escapes and vows to never go near a lion again, understandably of course. So they set up to leave Africa and go on a trip to the Mediterranean. But their plans get interrupted when they receive Mama Dalton's letter in the mail telling them of the ranch war that's threatening their lives back in Montana. Spencer and Alexandra try to get back to America, but they got 1,000 problems their way, which makes their storyline much more interesting than all the others. 1923 takes all the adventure romance tropes of successful films and does them all right. Spencer is a brooding, quiet dude, and Alexandra is an upbeat socialite. Opposites attract, and their scenes are so much better for it. In general, their storyline starts really strong, the pacing, the rhythm of the scenes, the chemistry between the actors, all of it works really well, especially the ending where the couple gets separated, although that had to happen because it would have been a bit boring if they have stayed together at the end. There is not much dramatic value in happy endings. A proper romance needs conflict, and 1923 has plenty of it. In good adventure romance stories, the conflict needs to come not from within, from the couple fighting, for example, for whatever reason, but from the outside, from some outside threat who wants to take the young couple who love each other and break them apart. And that is exactly what happened at the end of season 1, with Alex being taken back to England to her parents and Spencer being shipped off back to Montana. It sort of reminded me The Last of the Mohicans, when the couple of the movie got separated by a violent action, and I think 1923 definitely was inspired by it, although this as an idea is not unique in any sense, even Lost did it. The third storyline is about a young Native American woman named Teona. She's a teenager basically who studies in a missionary school alongside dozens of other Native American young women. She suffers tons of horrible violence. She gets beaten, she's sexually assaulted by other nuns and the other priests there, and at some point she's had enough and she kills one of them and she flees the missionary school. The priests, who aren't exactly behaving very priestly, go after her with the end goal of violently dragging her back to school. She finds help from some other native people and falls in love with one of them. All these storylines are loosely connected with each other, and in less capable hands that could have been a problem, but that doesn't happen in 1923. There is enough quality in the writing that I couldn't care less that the characters that we follow all season don't meet with each other. Some other shows could learn a thing or two from 1923 when it comes to creating an engaging story that has multiple characters across various storylines. I'm looking at you, Rings of Power. The third storyline with the young Native American woman isn't connected at all with the other events, but I suspect we will see it converging in the second season. In the Montana storyline, we see the same themes that played in Yellowstone so much, that the Daltons are somewhat the keepers of the Old West, the keepers of tradition, and other forces come into play that represent change, and they basically want either to steal their ranch or take them out. A very simple concept: change is bad, tradition is good, and the characters want to do anything they can to stop it. Also, it was a really good idea to introduce a clear and menacing threat for the elderly Daltons right from the start. You had a sense, with all the danger coming from other ranchers and the evil bunker, that maybe the show will just fast forward everything and badass Spencer will get Mama Dalton's letter as soon as possible. Then in the next episode he's gonna be in Montana fighting off the bad guys. That would have been the norm. That's what other lesser shows with lazy writing would have done. But 1923 takes another approach, with Spencer having no idea that there is even a threat to his family most of the season. When he and Alex want to leave Africa, there are a ton of problems their way, from their little ship sinking off the African coast to having Spencer fight the young lord that Alex was supposed to marry and kill him in the process. All these obstacles make for good storytelling, not only because it gives the characters something to do each episode, but the outside forces that threaten to break them apart serve as a way to unite the young couple and make them stick together. So we don't have to spend tons of time each episode watching boring scenes, going on about how much they love each other. We already know that. We know it by watching them conquer any obstacle that comes their way and being good to each other. It's harder for them, but with good stories, harder is good, harder is more fun. Well, that sounded a bit more pornographic than I intended. Anyway, the show also has a ton of fantastic casting. If Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren isn't enough, you got Timothy Dalton as the sadistic evil bunker, Jerome Flynn, aka Bronn from Game of Thrones, as the sheep farmer that wants to kill the Daltons. Add to that loads of talented actors in secondary roles, and you got yourself a hit. And finally, in 1923, the show created an environment of good storytelling and good character development, of likable characters that are being thrown into adversity by strong forces, by strong antagonists, and you have no other choice but to love them, as I did.